Welcome to the historic Morris & Clark Inn for the 2021 Covenant House Gala. My name is Erin Sterling. I am the Director of Sales with the hotel, and we are honored to be hosting this event and look forward to a night of celebration. The historic inn started as two private residences, one owned by the Morrison family and the other by the Clark family. In 1923, the Women's Army and Navy League purchased the buildings and converted them into the Soldiers, Sailors, and Airmen's Club. It was not only the headquarters for this service organization, but also a hostel for the enlisted in the military. Grace Coolidge opened the club, and every First Lady through Miss Kennedy hosted fundraisers here. During that time, the Chinese Community Church was built next door to the club and hosted services for many decades and was the only Chinese church in the district. In 1987, the club was transformed into the Morris & Clark Inn, and in 2014, the inn expanded into what was formerly the Chinese Community Church. These buildings that surround us throughout their many identities over the years all have one thing in common. They welcomed people from all over and provided a safe place when needed. And now I have the honor of welcoming you to our inn. I am now introducing you to Miss Marlena Tracy.
Good evening, everyone. I'll wake you up a little bit. I'm pleased to introduce our distinguished MC and Covenant House friend this evening, Jumi Olabande. Miss Olabande is a member, they were clapping, good clap. She's a member of News 4 Today team, reporting each morning from the live desk. She's a native of Fairfax County and spent most of her life in Virginia, attending Westfield High School and Virginia Tech. She earned a master's degree in communication and leadership studies from Gonzaga University. Ms. Olabande started her journalism career as an intern for NBC4, and she also worked for CNN, WTKR-TV in Norfolk, WC8-V-TV in Charlottesville, and WNBC-TV in New York, where she anchored the weekend evening newscast. She's been honored for her work with 2 national Edward R. Moore Awards for breaking news anchor coverage, 2 Virginia Association Press Awards, and get this, 7 Emmy Awards. Ms. Olabande is an advocate for organ donation and sits on the board of directors of the National Kidney Foundation. She is a member of the National Association of Black Journalists and lives with her husband in Washington, D.C. I give you the amazing Jumi Olabande.
I am honored to be with you this evening as your Mistress of Ceremonies for the Covenant House Greater Washington's 2021 Night of Stars Benefit Gala. It is so beautiful out here, and in this age of still trying to work our way through this pandemic, it's lovely to see that we can hold these events outdoors, and they're just as beautiful, and this is an amazing space. Tonight, we will be celebrating Covenant House Greater Washington, their young people, and of course, our very special honorees. Before I share the program schedule, I would like to read a letter from DC Mayor Muriel Bowser. Though she was not able to attend and join us this evening, she wanted to share just how proud she is of tonight's honorees and the work that Covenant House Greater Washington has done to help the young people experiencing homelessness in our region. And here is her letter. As Mayor of Washington, D.C., it is my pleasure to extend greetings to participants and attendees of Covenant House Greater Washington's It Takes a Village Gala. Birthed more than 4 decades ago, Covenant House has been a lifeline for more than 55,000 homeless, runaway, and trafficked youths and young adults nationwide. Locally, over the past 25 years, Covenant House Greater Washington has established a sterling reputation as an invaluable resource in achieving this city's goal to empower young people in dire need of shelter, care, and supportive services, and to ensure that homelessness is brief, rare, and non-recurring. I could not be more pleased to congratulate tonight's honorees, Angie M. Gates, my Director of the Office of Cable, Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment, Philip Pennell, Executive Director of the Anacostia Coordinating Council, Denise Rolark Barnes, Publisher of the Washington Informer, and Chris Smith, Chairman and CEO of WC Smith, for their inspiring work to ensure that many of our most vulnerable residents have the tools they need to thrive here. Additionally, I am truly inspired by the work of the phenomenal young people participating in programs that are being recognized this evening as well. Under the expert leadership of your CEO, Angela Jones-Hackley, I'm certain that CHGW will continue being deeply impactful in achieving our shared dream of permanently ending long-term homelessness for all Washingtonians and ensuring that all of our youth are able to live the safe, healthy, and productive lives that allow them to manifest their dreams. On behalf of the residents of Washington, D.C., thank you for all that you do, and I wish you a most enjoyable and successful event. Mayor Muriel Bowser. To that end, I would like to welcome you, all of our friends, supporters, dignitaries, special guests, and our viewers who are watching the live stream at home. This evening, you will hear from CEOs, distinguished community leaders, Covenant House graduates, and even a live podcast about the important life-saving work to stabilize the lives of young people who come in through the doors of Covenant House Greater Washington, homeless, in despair, and feeling unloved. Also, this gala salutes the dedicated staff, committed board members, and caring volunteers who provide unconditional love, structure, guidance, and hope, and the authentic path to success against all odds, even through this pandemic. At any point tonight, you can respond with give your dollar amount to make a donation, and I hope that you will inspire us to help reach our $100,000 goal tonight. If you did not receive that text message, please register with us by texting CHGW 2021 to the number 76278. Once you are registered, you will be able to donate via text or by going to chgw2021.givesmart.com. Now, I think all of you know, or should know, that this work cannot be done without all of you. The celebration will begin with some remarks from Covenant House Greater Washington CEO Angela Jones-Hackley, followed by our dinner. Then you will have an opportunity to hear an interview with a very special young person from Covenant House. And where is she? There she is, Mylan Barnes. I was looking for her. I was like, I saw her earlier. She will be interviewed by Covenant House board member Anthony Curtis. And after that, we will begin the award ceremony. I'd now like to introduce Covenant House Greater Washington CEO, Angela Jones-Hackley.
Thank you so much for being here this evening. It is truly an honor, and I'm excited that we're able to be here in person. And also, I want to greet our folks that are watching us via live stream. This has got to be my first time doing a hybrid gala. And so hopefully we will pull it off pretty well. Gathered here tonight is an impressive group of leaders and supporters. We come from a myriad of occupations, walks of life, and all wards in this tremendous city. Yet we are united in this rich diversity and share a core set of commitments. And that is to give every young person the feeling that they are home. The theme for tonight is It Takes a Village. And I really thank all of you for being here tonight and being part of that village. Covenant House Greater Washington's overarching goal is to help vulnerable young people achieve stability and function as productive members of society. But when you hear one of our young people speak tonight, you will know that the fact that they're experiencing homelessness is the least interesting thing about them. They come to us with the passion and potential to really change the world. And I want you to really hear Mylan's words because she is going to set this world on fire. Covenant House Greater Washington has a remarkable track record of success, serving more than 55,000 young people with absolute love and unconditional respect in the 26 years that we've been in business. 55,000 young people. That's amazing. What would be amazing if I came back here in 10 years and said, Covenant House Greater Washington has changed its mission. We've ended youth homelessness in the District of Columbia. So we stopped at 55,000 young people who were experiencing homelessness. And we helped 55,000 young people achieve their full potential. That we helped 55,000 young people thrive in a home that makes them feel safe and secure, and we no longer have to say they're experiencing homelessness because they are home. This is a pivotal point for the young people who come through our doors. But I remain hopeful, and you'll hear in my remarks that hope has to be there. For me, if that hope was not there, I could not come to work every day. My mom told me long ago that if you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. And I love this job. I love this city. I'm a native Washingtonian. I am honored to see my good friend Phil Pinnell. He reminded me we did some work some 20 years ago on healthcare with the tobacco settlement. I don't know if you guys remember way back when, so I've been around a long time. And I'm just honored that you guys are a part of this village. The African proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child," means that an entire community of people must provide and interact positively with children for those children to experience and grow in a safe and healthy environment. This village is made up of volunteers, donors, advocates, community leaders, board members, and all incredible staff, all who are interconnected by this vital life-saving work. This year has not been without its challenges. The fact that we're masking and still masking up means that we've been challenged. But I am humbled by the staff who have come to work every day, and we never closed our doors for our young people. We were open 24/7. I have staff who were exposed 3 and 4 times to COVID, but continued to come to work. Some of those folks are with us here today, and I'd like them kind of just to raise their hand because I could not do what I do without the wonderful support and the work that they do. We have a couple of our young people here. If they're not shy, they can raise their hands and say hi. They're probably eating. A few of our young people, wonderful young people. And then we have a few of our board members here as well. They can raise their hand. I'm looking at a few of them. They can say hi as well. I want to now extend a special welcome to several of our distinguished guests. And if you're here in the audience, please just raise your hand. If I don't call your name because you are all special, please contribute it to my head and not my heart. I'm a little bit older, so I remember some things and don't remember all things. So Councilmember Trayon White, I did not see him come, but he is supposed to be here this afternoon. He is a great supporter of ours, and hopefully you will get a chance to see him as well. Lafayette Barnes, did I see Lafayette? Not here. Ms. Denise Rolock Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer. Ms. Johnny Rice, chair of the DC National Congress of Black Women. Marianne Miller. She is a Covenant House Greater Washington advocate and a 2018 Dove Award winner. Marie Hightower. Ms. Hightower is Vice President of M&T Bank. Donna Cooper. Donna Cooper is President, PEPCO region, and our platinum sponsor. And I've had the opportunity and honor to sleep out with Donna a couple of times. She has been a great supporter of Covenant House Greater Washington, and it has been great to meet her and know her. Stephen Thomas, celebrity stylist. Mr. Ash Ramey, who is one of our partners with our facilities. My dear friend, former council member from Ward 8, Sandra Allen. I know I saw Sandy. Okay, great. So I'm going to reiterate again, tonight is a benefit gala. And we're really trying to reach our goal of $100,000 for this evening. We're close to the goal. Ms. Jumi gave you the text, and I'm going to give it again because sometimes you need to repeat some things so people can hear it over and over and over. So if you've received a text message from our link, Give Smart, it means you're already registered, so that's great. So thank you for taking these steps to register. At any point tonight, you can respond and give with your dollar amount to make a donation. And I will just say, anybody can be a philanthropist and every amount counts. If you did not receive that text, please register with us by texting CHGW 2021 to 76278. Once you are registered, you will be able to donate via text, or you can also go to chgw2021.givesmart.com. At this time, I want to recognize the award for our Volunteer of the Year. It's Mr. Brian Warden. Last September, Brian signed up with his employer 3M to provide Covenant House, Greater Washington, with pro bono virtual support to advance our marketing strategy. This support was only supposed to last for a 3-month period, but Brian has been with us ever since. He continued to work with Marlena and Sydney Golden for nearly a year, and his expertise has been invaluable, specifically as it pertains to marketing and capturing the attention of the young people who come through our doors. Unfortunately, Brian could not be with us in person. He is watching virtually, so everybody say hello to Brian. Hello, Brian. Congratulations, Brian. He's watching virtually from his home in St. Paul, Minnesota. And from all of us at Covenant House, Greater Washington, Brian, this award is for you. And I'm supposed to hold up the award. So Brian, this award says, the 2021 Volunteer of the Year Award is presented to Brian Warden in recognition of your generous commitment of time and extraordinary services in supporting the mission of Covenant House, Greater Washington, and its young people. Thank you, Brian. And hopefully it's a little bit chillier in Minnesota than it is here in DC. So lastly, due to that, I just want to remind you all, and I think you've heard, due to the rising rates of COVID-19 in the district, the mayor has reinstated the indoor mask mandate effective July 31st. So while you're out in this lovely courtyard, you may or may not have on your mask. It totally is up to you. But if you go inside to the reception, please, for your own protection and the protection of others, please put on your mask. So with that, I'll let you all have your dinner. And again, thank you again for being part of this wonderful village that we call Covenant House, Greater Washington.
We're going to continue on with our program right now. I would like to introduce up here to the stage this evening, A Seat at the Table. This will be a very special interview with Covenant House board member Anthony Curtis and Covenant House young person, Mylan Bars.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? We are going to get started here with a nice little casual conversation. And I don't know why I'm here, because she and I had a conversation earlier tonight, and you really don't need me, because this young lady is absolutely phenomenal. But we've put together some great questions, and she has the answers. And so let's go ahead and get started. This is Mylyn Barnes. Okay, how did you first learn about Covenant House?
And well, I first learned about Covenant House 3 years ago when I was unhoused due to family issues. I had just got committed at the time to DYRS. My care coordinator and educational advocate heard about the news of me couch surfing, and they just started digging into all of the resources that they could. And so Covenant House was one of them. We found out about Sanctuary, which was a drop-in shelter, for transitional age youth, where you could come and gain shelter from certain times and then, leave in the morning. It was to help prevent us from having to go through the harmful conditions that we had in our environments and unhealthy living situations. So it really helped shelter us during the times of need.
Like I said, I'm not needed up here. This young lady is phenomenal. Who inspires you most and why?
Thank you so much, King. I appreciate you. The people who inspire me most, honestly, are my aunt and my grandmom. The reason why they inspire me the most is because in my lowest moments, I could count on them. And not to sound cliche at all or anything, but like one night I had got into some really big trouble and I got locked up. And so I called my grandmom, I'm crying. And the first thing she did was she started praying over my life and reading me scriptures. And that kept me going, because I never thought I would be sitting right here right now. And so, excuse me, y'all, if y'all couldn't hear me. Yeah, but I never thought I'd be sitting here right now. So, they pushed me to be better. And then with my aunts, they helped me, continue and encourage me to break down childhood trauma, generational trauma, and heal, honestly, because that's what we all need is to heal.
Excellent. What are you most proud of, and what are some of your aspirations?
I am most proud of the way that I have persevered in life. I have went through many obstacles, just as everybody else in this room, but I never gave up. I'm resilient, and I am worthy of greatness, and I continue to keep that in mind. I used to abuse substances, engage in criminal activity, and self-sabotage in many ways. I went from a low vibration to a high vibration. You guys will hear me say that a lot. I have now come to the realization that we are all uncomfortably blessed. And the reason for me saying uncomfortably blessed is because we've been through a lot of uncomfortable situations, right? But we're still blessed. We're still here. We're still thriving. And so I'm most proud of that. And my aspiration in life is to continue pursuing entrepreneurship and uplifting the community and growing and helping others come to the realization that, pain is only temporary. The things that we go through are temporary, but the greatness and the success that is at the end of the tunnel, right? But we're really the light moving through the tunnel. And I want every youth to understand that to the fullest.
Thank you. No, I've got one. What advice or words of encouragement do you have for young people currently at Covenant House?
Okay. Firstly, I am still benefiting from kind of Covenant House resources right now to this day. I started this program 3 years ago. That should speak a lot of volume already. I would honestly encourage my peers to take advantage of all that Covenant House has to offer when it comes to the workshops on time management with Mr. Cisse, and case management, really communicating and learning how to communicate. Also, remember that Rome was not built in a day. Success doesn't happen overnight. Start off with small goals and work on building a healthy mindset, because that's what's important. I suggest seeking counseling, which can help break down childhood trauma. It is imperative to gain a healthy and positive mindset where you can empower plus encourage yourself to walk in your purpose. In life, we will experience a lot of negatives. That's unavoidable. And that's why it is so important to embrace the positive. We cannot control others or our circumstances. We can only control ourselves and what we put into it. You'll never know how much your story can impact and help others. You are a divine being walking in your truth.
Wow. What can I say to that? What are some things our guests in the audience and at home can do to help young people currently at Covenant House?
I really loved this question yesterday when I was like really sitting down reading it. I'm like, yes, right? And the reason why is because I feel like sometimes biases can get in the way of helping people, or judgment in general. And so I would like to say, pay attention to how you help. Sometimes we just want to be heard. Maybe not even for you to be like, you wasn't supposed to do that. We know too sometimes. And not saying for everybody, y'all. Sometimes you got to get on them people. But, just paying attention to how you help. And everybody's walk genuinely does not look the same. So the way that you got the greatness might not look the same for somebody else. Understanding that we are all worthy of love and should be treated just as such. People make mistakes. We all have in this room. It's about how we come back from them. Have faith and believe that the mustard seeds that you are planting are growing, because they are. Think about where you were 5 years ago, right? You weren't where you are now spiritually, mentally, nor physically. So keep that in mind while dealing with young people who are still on their way too. And remember that you guys are dope too. Like, y'all are awesome. And y'all are embracing greatness. And so thank you so much.
I have a couple of other questions that you weren't prepared for.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we're going to have a little fun here.
All right.
The first question, years from now, when you are inevitably sitting in my seat and some incredible young person is sitting next to you, what's a question you want to ask that young person?
I love that question. But the question I would ask them is, how will you give back? And I know y'all like, what? But that's important. How are we throwing the rope back over for others? Because we may have made it here, but there's somebody else still stuck. It's always a passion that drives this. So continuing the cycle. And it may be also, just like, what did you do today? Regular teenager conversation or young adult conversation.
Excellent. And this final question, I think, is equally as important. You have the chance to go to a concert of anyone of your choosing. Who are you going to?
Now, that's a good question, too. I like all your questions. But no, seriously, it's probably going to catch a lot of people off guard, except for my aunt back home. She's going to be like, yep. I love Erykah Badu to death. And so I would love to go to an Erykah Badu concert.
That's a very DC answer. A very DC answer.
Thank you so much.
Marlene, you did a phenomenal job. Let's get a round of applause for her. Thank you so much for sharing your pearls of wisdom. And I can't wait to see what you do next year and the year after. And your future is so bright.
Thank you so much. Don't make me cry.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Y'all are all awesome.
Amazing job, and so wonderful to hear your story, so important. We are going to move on with some of our other awards for the evening, and our very first award of the evening is the CEO Rising Star Award. Now, this recognition honors a Covenant House Greater Washington young person who demonstrates notable amounts of courage, perseverance, and resilience to overcome obstacles and also achieve success. Tonight, Covenant House Greater Washington CEO Angela Jones-Hackley and Covenant House board member Anthony Curtis will be presenting this award to, I wonder who, Mylan Barnes. I know you just sat down, come back up to receive your award.
So this is a little bit of a surprise because Mylan did not know she was receiving the award this evening. But as you can imagine, she really deserves this award. This award says, Covenant House Greater Washington, presented to Mylan Barnes in recognition She's gonna make me cry. No, I'm a crier, so stop crying. In recognition of your exceptional ambition, vibrancy, strength in character, and willingness to help others. The 2021 CEO Rising Star Award.
If you believe, which I think most people do, that we need to give young people guidance, then you can clearly see the benefit by partnering with an organization like Covenant House Washington. Well, we first became involved with Covenant House Washington back in the 90s. There's a lot of nonprofits in the community doing good work, but they tend to get very spread out, trying to be everything to everyone. And what we loved about Covenant House is its focus is young people. We still have a lot of young people who are still misdirected. And so we realize how important it is to have an organization like Covenant House Washington who can go out in the streets and connect with these young people and show them and encourage them to basically turn their life around. One of our properties in Southeast, not too far from Covenant House Washington's building, there was a young man who started to hang out with the older guys. About a year later, I was over at a meeting at Covenant House Washington, and there he was. And then we didn't see him back out on the street after that. That's what motivates me to continue to support Covenant House Washington. I certainly appreciate the Covenant House recognizing me. I feel like truly they're recognizing the company. My dad, who started the firm in '68 and I joined in '74, and he really set the tone for the company in terms of what it means to do community development and to be involved with the community. And that legacy, he's no longer with us, but that legacy has lived on for the entire now 53 years of the company's existence. I hope you take this the right way, but I hope Covenant House Washington goes out of business. That would be my goal. Now, I think someone's here that might think it's a bit naive, but that would be a long-term goal, that we don't have to have a Covenant House Washington. But right now, in the near future, we absolutely desperately need a Covenant House Washington to continue to connect to the young people and show them a different path.
Our next award this evening is the Dove Award. This is a recognition that honors an individual or entity that has demonstrated exceptional support of the CHGW mission through various methods, from sponsorships, affordable housing, and innovative training programs. Tonight, Covenant House Greater Washington board member Serinda Page will be presenting the Dove Award to a representative for Mr. Chris Smith, CEO and chairman of W.C. Smith.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. If we could just ask Mr. Rasan Bernard to come and accept the award on behalf of Chris Smith. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. Older people don't read small print real well. Help me out here. But it does say, presented to Chris Smith with sincere gratitude. We thank you for your many years of support and dedication to the mission of Covenant House Greater Washington and its young people. And again, the Dove Award presented August 5th, 2021. And again, Mr. Bernard accepting the award on Chris Smith's behalf. Thank you.
I just think it was a godsend to have Covenant House there. They opened on Mississippi Avenue here in Southeast DC, which is very close to where our office is and where I live. Their door is always open. And we need institutions like that, particularly today, where young people are just sort of directionless. I mean, they don't know what to do and don't necessarily have people who they can feel are in their corner and whose mission it is to make sure that they're successful. So Covenant House kind of fills all those blanks, checks off all those things. I started here at the Washington Informer at age 9. My dad, the late Dr. Calvin W. Rolark, started the paper in 1964. My father used to tell me all the time, you don't need to go sign up for a job, you have a job right here. Went off to college, got a degree in journalism, graduated from Howard Law School, but the whole time keeping my focus on journalism and wanting at some point to come back to work alongside my father at the newspaper. The crazy thing is when I came back, he said, I'm glad you're here, and he left. So it's been a long journey, but this is where I've spent the bulk of my life. Now, more than 40 years full-time running this publication. And I'm very proud that I've been able to put together a team that supports what our mission is, and that is, providing positive news and information for primarily for the African American community, and to have been able to sustain this for 58 years. Well, there are two things that to me are important. Covenant House, as I said, their doors are never closed, and so to me that's extremely important. A good meal, I think just sort of within itself solves problems, right? Because when you're hungry, there's a thing called hangry. You get hungry, you're angry, the world doesn't love you, there's no place where you can seek solace. They do those two things. They take care of those immediate needs once that young person walks in the door. And it seems as though the need keeps growing. And so anything that we can do to support their efforts to support young people, we are going to do.
As you can probably tell, our next award is the Chairman's Champion. This is recognition that honors a business that makes a positive and efficient impact on the community, heightening the visibility of young people experiencing homelessness. Tonight, Covenant House Greater Washington board member Linda Harper will be presenting the Chairman's Champion Award to Denise Rolark Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer.
This is a real joy for me. Denise and I have worked together before, and in my previous role, and I know how much this paper means to your community. I know how much it means when we start talking about truth, and for that, I am extremely grateful. So, and I'm like Serinda, it's the fine print. Oh, geez, and is it in English? No, okay, all right. Okay, no, if you turn it around, it is. Otherwise, it's not, Okay, presented to Denise Rolark Barnes in recognition of your leadership, your integrity, and your commitment and dedicated service. The Chairman's Championship Award, August 5th, 2021. Thank you, Denise. So this is, thank you. Do you want to make a comment? Do, please. I asked Marlena, can I say something? So I do want to. First of all, Jumi, I'm the one that applauded. I love you. You wake me up every morning, and I love your voice. I love your reporting. I love your smile. I love you. So I'm so glad that you are here this evening to share this occasion with all of us. And I also just want to say that, I can't reiterate it enough. Our children need us. They really, really need us. And Covenant House couldn't be in a better place at a better time. I don't know how to say it over and over again, but they need us. And you all are doing so much. I'm glad Stuart Anderson is with us because we highlight the children in the Martin Luther King parade. Of course, I'm happy with all the honorees. But more importantly, Donna, wonderful that you're here too. But our children need us. Whoever's watching us on DCT, on Officer Cable Television, our children need us. That's all I have to say.
I just walked over to Mylan and I asked her, I said, if somebody gave you $1,000, what would you do with it? This is the maturity of a young woman who has gone through a lot of things. And she said, I would invest it. I would invest it. So, Mylan, we have a board member, Serinda, who is with Morgan Stanley. And I just talked with Serinda, and we have just put $2,000 into an account for you to invest.
I'm adding 500 to that.
Covenant House very much is doing the Lord's work. I've encountered young people throughout the years who are beneficiaries of Covenant House's services, particularly young people who were homeless and they were able to actually find some place to live because of Covenant House, and then Covenant House connected with other services. So it's just been a tremendous partnership since its inception here in Ward 8. Even though this is considered the area of the city that is the poorest in terms of demographics and statistics, we are not poor in spirit. I'm 70 years old. I was born in Newport News, Virginia, which was a rigidly segregated community. I spent my youth, witnessing the horrors of institutionalized racism. It was high school and college that I had a political awakening in terms of the need to be active in order to be a part of achieving socioeconomic and political justice. Here in Ward 8, I got involved with Covenant House from day one. Any type of recognition or honor that I am getting is really not mine individually, because there's nothing that I could have done that would have been successful, otherwise, if it had not been for the wonderful people associated with the Anacostia Coordinating Council. So many people see east of the river as an area of the city with so many challenges. I see opportunities and possibilities. It's really quite, I would say, uplifting to be part of trying to make a community better. I can't see a Ward 8 without Covenant House. It would be as if Frederick Douglass's house and the big chair have disappeared, because Covenant House is just that essential and critical to the community. I'm a work in progress, and that I'm basically unfinished business. I hope that my greatest accomplishment is yet to be realized.
Our next award this evening is the Virginia E. Hayes Williams Award. This is recognition that honors an individual who gives tirelessly of his time and talent to improve the quality of life in the community for vulnerable young people. This evening's award will be presented by Covenant House Greater Washington Board Member Anthony Curtis to Philip Pinnell, Executive Director of the Anacostia Coordinating Council.
Okay, presented to Philip Pinnell in recognition of exceptional dedication, commitment, and unwavering support of our community. The Virginia E. Hayes Award, August 5th, 2021.
It was my mother that inspired me to be involved with Covenant House. My mother and I were attending the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. And as we were approaching the fairgrounds, there were a group of teenagers. We noticed that their clothes were torn. We noticed that they didn't have on any shoes. But what was so amazing to us, they all had these beautiful smiles. As we were departing, we saw a Covenant van, some people getting out of the Covenant House van, and they approached the teens and provided some water and some meals. And that's when we found out about Covenant House and the mission behind Covenant House. And we just thought back to those youth and how their lives had to have been changed. And it was from that particular moment that my mom started providing a monthly contribution to Covenant House every year, and it's continued for many, many years. The one thing that instantly caught my attention with the Covenant House mission, when someone shows up at their facility, one of the first questions they ask is, "Are you hungry?" And I think about how the food is not only providing that person nourishment, but it's food for the soul, it's food for hope, it's food for a pathway to move forward. My career journey started at the University of New Orleans. I majored in communications and film, and my master's is in arts administration. After being a film specialist, I started working in live entertainment. I went on tour for a couple of years and found my way here in Washington, D.C., and had the honor and privilege of meeting Mayor Bowser. And I serve now currently as the Director of Office Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment. One of the things that I am most proud of is bringing home an Emmy to the district government here in Washington, D.C. We're family, so for us to have that accomplishment and do that together has really, really been just so impactful and so inspiring. I'm motivated to stay connected to Covenant House because lives are changed each and every day. Let me just start with the fact that Covenant House being located in Ward 8, in the heart of the community, for everyone to have a seat at the table, that inclusive approach in meeting people where they are is what really makes a difference. So I will always remain connected to Covenant House and always support all the initiatives and activities that take place at Covenant House, because together that's the only way that we can succeed and move forward.
Our last award of the night is the Lizzie Award. This award is the highest recognition within Covenant House International, and it honors an individual who has made significant philanthropic efforts and contributions to humanity, with special emphasis on services that positively affect the population of underserved, homeless, and disconnected young people that Covenant House Greater Washington serves annually. Tonight's Lizzie Award is presented to Director Angie Gates of the DC Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment. Director Gates was honored to receive this award and was hoping to join us this evening. She was going to try to run over here. I don't think she was able to get here. I don't see her, but in preparation, she did send an acceptance video, so we'll view that now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Saquon Brown. I am a Covenant House alum. They assisted me a lot over the years with great life skills and training in how to be successful. I'm honored to be presenting the Lizzie Award to Director Angie Gates. I know Ms. Gates has a passion for music, which I share, so we have something in common. It's people such as you that make it possible for me and others like me to see the best in ourselves. So I'm honored to present you with the Covenant House's most prestigious award for serving as a role model for young people by lifting up the Covenant House story over the years and providing opportunities for us to be successful. We're grateful to you for providing opportunities to young people to come to your agency and learn TV production. Thank you, Director Gates and your team, for the hope you bring to our youth at Covenant House Greater Washington. Please accept this Elizzie Award with our greatest appreciation.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Saquon, for presenting me with this prestigious award. I'm proud of your accomplishments and impressed with your commitment and tenacity. Your dedication to excellence has led you to owning your own company, and I just may be working for you one day. I am honored to have been selected as a Covenant House Lizzie Award recipient by the Covenant House of Greater Washington, D.C. I would also like to congratulate all the other honorees. The work and impact Covenant House has on the community is crucial. Their support of teenagers and young adults who find themselves without a safe haven is unparalleled. There is no mission more important than leveling the playing field and providing the youth and young people in need the support and services necessary to transform their lives in such a way that housing, employment, and economic stability can be obtained. I was inspired to support Covenant House by my mother, Mary Bobby Gates. She has supported Covenant House in New Orleans for many years. She recognized the importance of giving youth experiencing homelessness and in crisis help and resources. Covenant House provides a tailored approach to each individual. Covenant House gives hope and a chance for a new path forward. From housing to advice to mental health support to a hearty meal, from love, respect, and encouragement to workforce readiness and job and career placement, Covenant House is there each step of the way. I will continue to wholeheartedly support Covenant House and the work they are doing each day. They make the world a better place, one young person at a time. I stand here so humbly grateful as I accept this award. So in honor of my mom and the group of homeless teens who introduced us to the principles of Covenant House that changed our lives forever. Thank you so much for blessing me with this prestigious award.
We are now going to hear from Jeannie Clark, Vice President of Finance at AOBA, who is going to talk about the Covenant House Annual Sleep Out, which will take place this November.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Marlena, for asking me to speak about Sleep Out. It's something that I'm passionate about and we'll be doing again on Friday, November the 19th. So Executive Sleep Out is a national event that takes place across North America and Canada during National Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week. Local executive leaders and Covenant House partners join forces for an epic demonstration of the commitment to end homelessness, rebuild lives, and reconnect youth to our community. Our region's corporate and community leaders recruit their company's team with a goal of raising a minimum of $5,000, that's minimum, to $100,000 and literally sleep outside on a cardboard box and a sleeping bag in solidarity with hundreds of local youth experiencing homelessness, disconnection, and exploitation. This event heightens awareness and raises funds for critical programs that serve and stabilize the lives of young people experiencing homelessness, disconnection, and exploitation. This year, Covenant House of Greater Washington's Candlelight Vigil and Executive Sleep Out will take place on Thursday, November 18th. The goal is to raise $400,000. I think that's a little less, then we can raise, I'm sure we can do better than that. Donna Cooper, president of the PEPCO region, serves as the chair of this event and is one of the many executives and regional leaders participating again in this year's event in solidarity with homelessness, with disconnected and exploited youth. Each year, the local media coverage of this event is substantial, so I'm sure many of you have seen this. This year, we'll keep our format of a hybrid sleep out. For those who do not attend in person, we encourage you to have your symbolic sleep out at home, in your driveways, backyards, living rooms. We will also be offering a live stream for those who participate remotely to observe our in-person sleep out. Marlena also asked me to speak about our experience with sleeping out. So one word I have, it's cold. It's very cold, and it just seems to get colder. But after a couple of years of practice, you get a little better at this. So our first year, will be our fourth year that AOBA is doing our sleep out. So you've met my partner in crime, Tony Curtis. I was ever the optimist. My glass overflows. Tony is a realist. So our first year, I said, oh, this is a piece of cake. We're gonna get 50 people, each raising $500. We're gonna get $25,000, hands down. And Tony says, Jeannie, really, you're not getting 25 people or 50 people out here. Well, he was correct. We got 12. But at least it was our first year. We had 3 weeks to go, and we raised $14,000. The next year we did better. We had less people, but we raised more money. So over 3 years, we have managed to raise $41,000. This year, I'm really hoping that maybe we can reach our $25,000. So one of the hardest parts about our sleep out and year number one was finding a place to sleep. You can't sleep on the streets of DC, it's illegal, apparently so. So we said, okay, we'll find somewhere else to sleep. So we reached out to our members that own parking garages and parking lots. No, that was a liability, you can't sleep here either. One of our members offered us the courtyard of an apartment complex, which was great, except then you're going to have, the 12 of us out there making a lot of racket because it's too cold. Can't go to sleep because we've got to keep waking and talking. Where are we going to go to the bathroom? Behind their planters? That's not going to work. So finally, one of our members offered us his big yard out in Gaithersburg. So for the past 3 years, we've been sleeping out in Gaithersburg. Well, now his property's for sale, so we're back to square one. Where are we going to sleep this year? But we'll figure it out, and we will raise $25,000 come hell or high water. So thank you, and anybody that wants to participate in our sleep out, we're welcome. So November 19th, somewhere, somehow, we will be sleeping out, and I encourage you to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. But before we close tonight, I just want to say it was an honor to join you all. Have so much fun. I can't believe 2019 we were talking. Wow, what a past year and a half or so. But look forward to joining you again. And so on behalf of everyone at NBC4 and Telemundo 44 and NBC Sports Washington, we thank you for allowing us out here this evening to join you. And with that, with some final remarks, I want to invite back up Covenant House Greater Washington CEO Angela Jones-Hackley.
Thank you, Jumi. Yeah, we were just talking about the fact I started here at Covenant House Greater Washington in November of 2019, and I met her at the first gala in 2019, and then 2 months later there was the pandemic. And I probably could never have imagined starting this work in the midst of a pandemic. So, but I will say, but by the grace of God go I, that I am humbled to do the work that feeds my family and feeds my soul. And that is such a blessing, and I hope each one of you have that blessing as well, being able to do the work that feeds your family and feeds your soul. So I just want to thank all of our sponsors for tonight. I don't have my list in front of me, so I'm going to have to go by off the top of my head. Our platinum sponsor, Pepco, Exelon. Donna Cooper is here this evening. AOBA, were you gonna remember this? Okay. AOBA, the Apartment and Office Building Association, has been a great partner, also a member of our board and a sponsor for this evening. The American Hotel and Lodging Association, thank you for this great staff. American Hotel and Lodging Association, Fort Myer Construction, the Office of DC Cable and Television, W.C. Smith and Company, M&T Bank, Giant, USP, and who did I miss? Now I can't see. Capital Petroleum Group. So thank you again for all of our sponsors for this evening. I cannot end the evening without giving a huge shout out to someone who likes to stay behind the scenes, but without this event would not even have been possible. Miss Marlena Lanham Tracy is our Chief of Development and External Affairs. I work for her. I work for her. She is the engine behind this event. She is the engine behind the work that we do in securing the funds to keep this work going and to serve the young people that we serve. And she doesn't like to kind of be in the front, but I do want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, because this would not have happened without your vision for this. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. It's nice, I guess the stars will come out, but have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for being a part of our village this evening.